Lightning flow. Thoughts arrive like astral strikes. Fresh and buds now.
Fresh and
All right, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh and Buds. I'm your host, Tommy Fresh, and you are all my buds. It is episode 252. We have another mailbag episode. It's NATS week. It's busy. I was working a lot, getting stuff done before I traveled to Minneapolis. I'm excited. I hope to see some of you there, and we're going to have a good time. But we're going to have an even better time talking on this podcast. We also have a giveaway. LSS has kindly sent me some Drinking Buddies promos. I guess that's what you call them. Yeah. Promotional cards. Drinking Buddy. Let me read what it does here. It's a 2 for 6. It's a red. It's a generic, I should also say. And it blocks for 3. It's a generic attack. When this attacks, each hero may search their deck for an item with potion or brew in its name and put it into the arena. Each hero that does shuffles their deck. If 2 or more heroes put a card into the arena this way, this gets go again. I think legal only in UPF and casual settings, but very cool. I am going to give away 4 playsets. So playsets are 2 each because I'm thinking UPF here. 4 playsets for this video, but you have to stick around to find out how to win. I'll be talking about it after I get through all the mail, and it's going to be a good time. But I think we will also briefly, I guess I'll give my Omens fresh faves, and then we'll get right into it. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on who's going to win US Nats this weekend. Hopefully a Bud, so that would be sick. And I'm excited to see who does win. I'll be playing in the calling, so obviously I'm going to be winning that. So, place your bets now, folks. Actually, that's probably illegal in Flesh and Blood. Don't place any bets. Actually, we do not condone it. Now, let's talk about Omens and my fresh faves before we get into some mail that have been kindly sent in by the buds in the Buds Discord. Omens, fun set, I would say, limited wise. I think there's a lot of opportunity for these heroes in Constructed, but it's a little bit more of a wait and see. I'll be shocked, wink wink, if any of them really make a big splash this weekend, but I've seen crazier things happen. These teams keep a lot of things under wraps, so I'm excited to see. Anyway, now let's talk about my fresh faves. Who's my favorite hero of Omens? It's easily going to be Ziggy. Ziggy's been the hero that I've had the most fun playing, and it might be surprising, but I don't think it's that surprising because I also, to be honest, really love Dromai in Uprising Draft. So every once in a while, these illusionists get me. So Ziggy's really cool. I think that they are one of the cooler designed heroes in this set, exploring different spaces within the illusionist kind of idea. And I think there's a lot of room to kind of explore fragment and basically the hollow counter interactions. So I expect with Ziggy, we're going to see a lot of cool expansion slots in the future sets. It just makes the most sense to me. I don't really see it happening as much for Aurora. Aurora, I think, has plenty of support already. And then Acilio, I feel like we'd be making a meal out of it if we were going to give Acilio anything else. But I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. Now, let's talk about weapon. I got a soft spot for Scorpio. The more I've seen it played and played with it, it's just very clean. I think I talked about it on maybe the last episode, but I forget how much I love attacking for nothing, right? Like with a weapon. Love Raiden, and sure, Scorpio is not quite Raiden level, but it's in a better class, allegedly. So I'm a big fan of how Scorpio's playing, and it's like a real threat. Like 2 damage, split is scary, right? So it's not quite your Starfall, but I think it's quite good. So Scorpio's cool. I do like Aphrodisias as well. Volzar is definitely way more boring than the other Volzar, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But like, Aphrodisias is kind of interesting, although it just has a lot of restriction around it for good reason. And then you got to shout out the Lion Claw Maul as well, which is neat. Although it would be nice to see a reviled brute weapon rather than Savage Claw, but that's just me. Oh, Pile Driver is cool as well, I should say. But moving on, equipment. I gotta give it to, honestly, this is actually tough. I might have to pick something I've been loving in limited. I think Laced Lightning is just cool. I love the art on Laced Lightning. I think that's one of my favorite pieces of art in the set, which has a lot of great art, but like Laced Lightning just looks so cool. There's something like 80s sci-fi novel-esque fantasy sci-fi that I really love. The color scheme there. What it does is fine, right? Like prevent some damage and create a lightning embodiment of lightning token. So like that's good. It's definitely good and limited in this format, but the look of Lace Lightning makes me want it to be an actual legendary, to be honest. But we can't all get what we want. So yeah, Lace Lightning. So we got Lace Lightning, we got Scorpio, and moving into favorite class and or talent card. This one's tough, I think. Honestly, I feel like Turn to Mindfire is just so good. Right? I mean, I'm a big Premeditate fan. Kind of getting the Ponder token on hit is just so good. And the possibilities with this card with future heroes, I just think is so exciting. It's just such a clean play. And you also feel like totally like awful if it's fully prevented too. So like got to give it to Turn to Mindfire. I think that is a really neat card and probably going to be a pretty potent card going into future like Sage metas and even some CC metas, I'm sure, as well. Favorite generic card? We didn't get a lot. Bonus points, of course, if it blocks for 2. Gee willikers. I mean, the Step Between is also up there in the art, and it is blocking for 2, so I kind of want to say that. I mean, it's between that, Tempt Over, and Browbeat, mostly, I would say. The other generics are whatever, or reprints. But I opened the full art, like cold foil Browbeat, and it just looks so cool. It just makes me want to play that card. So maybe I got to give it to Browbeat, because it's a pretty neat card. And then favorite token, Lightning Flow, I guess. It's the newest token, obviously. And then what Lightning hero do you want next is a huge question. It's so tough, like when you have access to embodiments of lightning, that it's hard to say what you would want to push into that. I mean, I think Lightning Mechanologist would be really cool. I think in general, I like the idea of maybe, I think I talked about this last week, like a Lightning Necromancer, Frankenstein's monster kind of thing, or just like Dr. Frankenstein, kind of like, using lightning rods to bring, the undead back would be really sick. I could see that being a lot of fun. So, and GOAT set, I don't know if this is necessarily the GOAT set, but I am enjoying it so far. I will probably have a better opinion of it after playing a lot of it in Minneapolis this weekend. So we'll see. What are your thoughts about Omens? Please let us know in the comments. Let's get to some mail, folks. I have a mailbag channel in the Buds Discord, and I usually ping it when I'm going to do an episode like this. And of course, we have some people who throw a ton of questions. So I'm going to answer all of them, and I'm going to just do it in order in which they were submitted. And that's how we're going to go. First one comes from Cap Capolo, who asks, this is a follow-up from the last mailbag that I did. Capolo asks, if LSS would hire you, what would be your job? Are you ready to move to New Zealand? I don't remember if I answered this one or not, but I think my resume would say something in sales or brand management. So I would love to work with retailers in some capacity. That would be my ideal, gig. And am I ready to move to New Zealand? Actually, the nice thing about what I would be hired to do in this dream scenario is that I don't think I would necessarily need to move to New Zealand, and rather spend most of my time in the US market, which is obviously a very important market for LSS, and continue to grow the game. I mean, there's tons of LGSs that don't carry Flesh and Blood, or don't run events, or don't know how to pitch the game, that pitch the game poorly, or run events and nobody shows up. Like, there's a lot of work to be done at the retail level that I think the onus is on LSS a little bit, right? I think that you gotta give some tools to a lot of stores that don't have like a built-in community or a community leader in any way. So I don't have to move to New Zealand. I would love to go to New Zealand. I will not be moving there anytime soon. It's just I don't know. I guess I could, but I don't know if Lady Fresh would be down with it. So that's all right. Next question comes from Dr. Unks. Asked 3 questions, yay or nay, back to back. First one, 5-second rule, yay or nay? I'm a yay, like 90% of the time on the 5-second rule. Depends on where those 5 seconds were spent, right? I think if I'm, for whatever reason, eating a bag of pretzels in a public restroom and one of them falls on the ground, that's a 0-second rule. I'm not even giving it a second thought. I'm just throwing it away. But if it's in my kitchen and I know the floor is clean, 5 seconds is fine. So I'm going to say yay 90% of the time. Peeing in the shower, yay or nay? This one, listen, I'm going to be real with you folks. It's a yay for me. I am already showering. I don't want to waste water. So, might as well do it. Next question. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? Nay for me, but I'm okay with people saying yay. I'm not like, how dare you? And my problem is not actually with pineapple as a whole being on the pizza. To me, it's not the flavor. It's actually the texture. I think that grilled or cooked pineapple is good, but on its own. But I don't think the texture lends itself personally to pizza. Now, there's going to be haters out there saying, mushrooms kind of have a crazy texture. I'm like, yeah, but that's just the way mushrooms are. Like, I'm used to pineapple raw mostly, or uncooked. Is it raw if it's just regular ripe pineapple? Not sure. Chime in, folks. Next question comes from Darth Prentice. What is the correct way to mount the toilet paper on the holder? I thought that this was the correct way to mount the toilet paper holder. I would say on the wall next to the toilet, but toilet paper on the holder, I guess over. This is one that people definitely debate about, like, a lot on like social media and the internet, the Google machine. And I think there's definitely a way I prefer it, but I don't know what it is until I'm presented with the way I don't like. And it doesn't make that much of an impact on me that I know definitively, right? So I think when I install it, it's over and not under, if that makes sense. But great question. Great question. This one's from Andrea Biaggi, who asks, how much money would it take for me to quit Fab and to dedicate all my free time to competitive standard Magic the Gathering? This is going to sound crazy, but I wouldn't ever, there's no amount of money. Because, I mean, like, I guess it would have to be enough money for me to, like, never have to work again, I guess. So, like, I guess if that amount of money was presented to me, it would be hard for me to say no, right? I'd be like, yeah, whatever. See if Flesh and Blood, I'm playing standard Magic the Gathering now. Not Legacy, not Modern, not Pioneer, whatever. Standard. Which always was my favorite of the constructed formats in that game. But in reality, nobody's offering me any money to do that. And I don't think I wouldn't have any fun. I wouldn't be happy. So it's really, in the end, not that worth it to me. But yeah, I mean, I got to be realistic that money does help me live a life in this world. So there is an amount. It's probably more than anybody will, not even probably, definitely more than anybody would pay. Also, I think there's definitely nobody that would pay any amount of money for me to do that. Why would they? Makes no sense. Another one from Andrea is, you need to own a pet by law. Which pet would you pick and what would you name them? I really, really want a jumping spider. Lady Fresh is not down with it, but that, if I had to by law, I'd be like, babe, it's the law. I gotta have it. So I would get a jumping spider. I think they're really cool, but you know, they're out and about. Like, you know, I see them. They're chilling near me sometimes, so it's not that bad. But I would have a jumping spider, and I would name them. I don't know what I would name them. Like, maybe, I don't know. I'm really bad at the naming part of pets, but I guess whatever I was into at the time, which right now is, I mean, I'm liking that show Widow's Bay, so maybe just Widow. I think it would be cool. Get it, you know, a little girl spider, call her Widow. If it's a boy spider, Widower, I think. And then you got like Black Widow. It's like all kind of goes into that, I would say. But good question. Good question. Next question comes from Sigma, who asks, did you ever find yourself thinking or strategizing too much about the games that I play that it feels like they interfere with my professional life? All the time. I go through spurts in my professional life where I'm super locked in. I'm really like, I'm going to work super hard, this, that, and the other thing. I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of it, and it feels very rewarding. But let's be real. I like games. That's what I like the most. So I am thinking about games all the time. So I think, yeah, that happens quite often. And I don't think it's a bad thing, because if I like game, why force myself not to think about the things I like? So does it suck sometimes with work? Yes. Should I focus more? Yes. But I'm not medicated, so we're just letting it ride. But thanks for the question, Sigma. Another question from Cap, who asks, which Flesh and Blood hero would tame Meeps and have them fight Pokemon style? I guess Rhinar probably, you know, kind of has, like, I feel like there's like art where like has like wild beast kind of tamed. That would make sense to me. I mean, I guess any of the necromancers are kind of in that realm. The illusionists are kind of in that realm of like controlling stuff. So I could see them making the leap to meeps. The meep to leaps. No. Yeah, so I would say any of the illusionists, necromancers, or Rhinar specifically, could be, doing the meep Pokemon thing, which would be fun. I mean, Pokemon's cool. I mean, we don't want to have animal cruelty, but we will make exceptions for meeps, I think. Also, Capola asks, when am I having a baby? That's a good question. Do I have something to announce? I don't. No. Never, because, no. I don't know. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years. Soonish, I would say. It's not like I don't want it, but, who knows? We'll see. Stay tuned, I guess. Nowadays, how many adult... This is also Capola. Capola likes to load them in here. How many adult beverages are needed to make me buzzed, and how many to make me drunk? So the buzz threshold, we're gonna say 2 7.5% IPAs will get me to the buzz, right? And then 5 to the drunk, right? So think about a 5% alcohol beer is the equivalent of a shot of like a 35% alcohol liquor, and then like your 15% alcohol glass of wine. So if you're thinking of that in those terms, I guess I can do this math. We're gonna do the math. So like 75% of that, and then boom, 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 boom. So maybe like 3 regular beers, or 3 shots will get the buzz. And then probably still the 5 or 6 to get the drunk. Servings. 6 servings, I would say, for drunk. But like not so drunk that I'm annihilated, That's in the 12 range, folks. So if you're in Minneapolis and you want to get to the 12 range, let me know. Would I buy a Flesh and Blood collection for $5,000? A full Flesh and Blood collection for $5,000? I feel like that would be worth it, right? You can turn some of those cards, some of the fables. I'm assuming I'm getting some cold foils in the mix here. If it's a full set, yes. I would say yes. It would also, personally, for me, be good to know that I just have the full set, and then every new set that comes out, I can just collect that and, go forth and have fun. So, yes. Do I own any Lego? If not, why? I do own Legos. Do I have any here? No Legos in here, but Lady Fresh and I'd like to do date nights where we'll get like one of the nicer Lego sets that are like bouquets or succulents or like cactuses, and just build them while we watch like a movie or something like that. That's fun. We like doing that. What is my guilty pleasure? I don't know, actually. Smoked oysters? Does that count? It's like one that I don't really like go around broadcasting. But the Geisha brand smoked oysters, I love them. I had some today, and I had some yesterday because they were in the house and I was eating them. So, that I guess is my guilty pleasure. Pepito asks, I've always thought that Fresh and Buds was a euphemism for weed or dweeb. That ain't a question, it's a statement. Yeah, I get that a lot. I'm not like a big that kind of guy, actually. So I didn't really even think about it when I named this podcast, but I say everybody do them how they want to do them. So Pepito also asks, apart from Riptide, which other heroes are you playing at your local armories and tournaments? CC and Sage. I'm always kind of switching back and forth from Riptide and Brute. So I got Tough Nut built, I got RKO built. And then in Sage, I have Fang built, I have KO built, but KO I can't play anymore. I would like to build Scurv at some point. That would be kind of fun. And then, am I buying in any of the new Omens heroes? I think the only one I would be really interested in playing is Ziggy, but I don't want to do the refractor thing. I'm interested in like some kind of like aggro Ziggy. I feels like it could happen. There's so many good zero costs in that card pool. I would like to see it. It wouldn't be like Redline because you have like really good blue zero costs, so you can kind of do like a Cheerios thing, which would be kind of neat. But I don't think I have the brain to build it, but somebody will. And then, am I playing any other TCGs at the moment? Not like actively. I did the Kickstarter for I have some right here, Neuroscape. The back of that, they're right here. And I built some of the decks and played with my cousin, and it was a good time. It's more of like a casual thing for me to kind of see, like, because the overall concept was kind of interesting to me, and the game design or like the engine was interesting as well, but not very serious about it. I haven't played it really since March, but I would like to play some more. It's cool. So I keep an eye on what they're doing and what they're coming out with. I think they're going into the unlimited of their alpha set. So yeah. Capolo asks, what car am I driving? Well, I just got a new car like in the past 2 months because my other car died. I was driving a Honda CRV that I put 275,000 miles on with my job, which was, I think a pretty good run. And then it just kind of died. So I went and got a newer CRV Honda, but this one's hybrid, so a lot better gas mileage, a little bit better for the environment. So, yeah, that is what I'm driving. Darth Prentice asks, what car do I wish I was driving? Oh, boy. I don't know. I'm not like crazy into like cars. I definitely had my eye on like the Rivian if I was gonna go electric, but I didn't. The price point didn't really make sense for me, but it would be kind of cool. Like I just want like a electric car that feels like a car, and like I can't see myself getting a Tesla ever. Like it, first for a lot of reasons, reasons that I'm on Blue Sky and not X, but also like the car itself, it feels very, I don't know, not like a car to me, and I want something with room in it too. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say. Capola asks, what futuristic car am I going to be driving in 20 years? Will it fly or have teleportation? Yes. I would love a flying car that teleports. That would be so sick. So yeah, I'm going to be driving that car. That would be neat. Capolo also asks, what cologne do I usually wear? I don't really wear cologne a lot these days. I think at one point when I was like going out to the clubs, I would wear some more cologne, but now it's just, Old Spice, like deodorant, just get a nice little smell to me, I guess. So nothing too crazy. Then if Flesh and Blood gets more popular, what would be the first expansion to the IP? Movie, animated series, toys? I still think novels, like bring back the old Magic the Gathering novel era. I think that was really cool. I think they would actually do better now than they did at the time that they were doing them for Magic. Like I think reading and books have really kind of popped off because of like TikTok and Instagram and all this. Like a lot of people are getting back into books and reading, and a lot of like authors are really like getting famous out of nowhere, I think, right now. So I think the novels would be cool. And then in tandem with that, what does it really need? What really needs to happen, for Flesh and Blood to take off? How are we appealing to the casual crowd? Buckle in, folks. I saw this one come in, and I have a hot take. I think that we don't need to appeal to the casual crowd. I think the casual crowd will be born out of this game, if that makes sense. It's hard to just break into the casual stuff. Focus on the competitive side of this game. It's the best thing about it. And then naturally, you're going to get people to come into the game. It's very competitive. And I understand some people will leave it. All you need to do is have some options for casual play. Because think of it like a bowl, right? You got a bowl up here, which is a smaller bowl than a bigger bowl beneath it. And you have a jug of water. The water is the player base. And you're pouring the player base into the top bowl. The top bowl is competitive players. Eventually, that top bowl gets to critical mass or whatever, and then it starts to spill over. The idea is you want to have something to catch those, the extra water, the extra players. So you just have to have that second option for players who are like, Flesh and Blood is really cool. I can't do it competitively. Oh, we have this option. I don't think we need to be like, whoa, here's a whole new thing, right? I think we just need to, as a community, to create casual options, because I don't think LSS has the bandwidth, rightfully or not rightfully, understandably, I guess, because they have to focus on making this competitive game fun and good and interesting and make people want to continue to interact with it. So that is my hot take. We don't need to create this big thing for the casual crowd to break into a huge crowd. It's just continue to bring people into the competitive side. People will know that the competitive side isn't for them, right? And when they realize it, give them something like a backup plan, right? And I think we should do that. Cube's a great example. William, is doing a lot for the Cube community. Tyler's doing a lot for the Cube community. So let's keep that going. Favorite animal? Probably a turtle. I like turtles. They're cool. Yeah. Favorite cryptid? Mothman, easily. Second favorite would be the Jersey Devil. Obviously, gotta root for that hometown hero at sometimes. Jersey Devil's pretty sick. And the cryptid, I think, is actually real. I would say, does the Kraken count? I would say that's probably the realest. We know there's giant squids and stuff like that. But if it wasn't the Kraken, maybe Bigfoot, I think, or skinwalkers, Wendigos. That would be that would be terrifying if those were real, but who knows? When is Mo Bogsley coming back on the pod? That's a good question. Me and Mo talk every once in a while. I don't know how much Mo is interacting with the game right now, but I don't know. Maybe I'll see Mo this weekend. I'm not sure. I really don't know. But I would love to have Mo Bogsley on. We have a blast. We have a blast hanging out. We have a blast talking on the pod. Do I know who Max Fosh is now? And if not, look it up. Do I think he's William's clone? Don't know who Max Fosh is, but let's take a look, folks. Max Fosh. Okay, let me go to the Instagram here. Yes, looks a lot like William from the Table Pit. So, yeah. William, congratulations. Max is your clone. Any new plans for a spin-off of Fresh and Buds? No spin-off. I am working on another video series. It requires a lot more time to edit that I haven't really had. I recorded all of it. I just need to edit at least the first episode of it. And when I get that going, that will be kind of like not as scheduled as like a podcast, but like when I can do it and put it out, hopefully be really cool. I think I've hinted at it before. What's my favorite fast food chain and what's my order? So I worked at McDonald's, so like it's not really my favorite because I worked there, but I will say I'm a big Filet-O-Fish lover. It's a contentious subject among the fast food community, but I think the Filet-O-Fish rocks. So big Filet-O-Fish fan. I used to be more of a Taco Bell guy, but as I've grown older, the only thing I really enjoy from Taco Bell is their Diablo sauce. So, and like a bean burrito every once in a while. Jeez. I'm not a Chick-fil-A fan whatsoever. Yeah, I think Wendy's was like, there was a Wendy's right by my community college like 15 years ago, and I had fond memories of eating at Wendy's. So, you get Dave's Double, shout out Dave. So, but yeah, Filet-O-Fish, number one. I also like the McRib, if we're going to stick to some wild things happen at McDonald's. But I like the McRib, I like the Filet-O-Fish. So, I like the weird stuff. Also, Arby's has a really good fish sandwich around Lent. I don't think they serve it all year round, but that's a whole nother bag of hammers. Junior says, and then asks, I think you'd look a lot cooler if I had a scar running down one side of my face and over my eye. Thoughts? Yeah, that sounds awesome. Now, I do have scarring right here. It actually keeps, sometimes people will say, oh, you have a lazy eye. No, actually, this scar is actually just keeping this eyelid more open than the other. People would think this is the lazy eye. No, this is actually the regular eye. This one's just, way more alert. I was in a car accident when I was younger. And I got some scarring here, but it's not quite as cool as like a scar going like this. Does Fang have that? I feel like Fang has that. Or no, not Fang. Fi. But next question. Gymnabon? Maybe? Which would you rather have as a pet? A bear, a tiger, or a crocodile? Boy, this one's tough. I'm going to say not a tiger. Not a tiger. They're cool, they're majestic, but just, there's a lot of bad press for pet tigers over the past 20 years. Right, or longer. I forget when that Vegas act had the tiger attack, but that was the talk of the town in 2003 or whatever it was. I think a bear would probably be the right choice. Like, I think bears are kind of mopey and curious, like like your regular brown bear. I wouldn't want a grizzly. That would be bad news. But like, I gotta say, bear cubs are really cute. I mean, tiger cubs are too, but like bear cubs are like really cute. Crocodile's interesting because, actually, definitely not a crocodile. They're way more aggressive. If it was an alligator, we'd talk. Crocodile, definitely not. Next question from Gymnabon is Gymnaban. We're gonna say Gymnabon because it just kind of sounds like a more fantasy name. Are Vikings pirates? No, I would say not, because when I think of pirates, I think of kind of more outlawish kind of vibes, and Vikings are kind of like a solid unit with a common goal. Does the goal sometimes line up with what pirates' goals are? Yeah, but I don't really think we're having like Viking mutinies that much. based on my knowledge of Vikings, but I could be wrong, but I'm going to say no. And when do I think we get a talented pirate hero? And then added ice pirate that is a Viking, please, James. Now, that would be sick. I'd be into that. Okay, I see where you're getting at there. I think probably sooner rather than later. I think we're due for another Necromancer, which will probably come in set 20. But after that, all bets are off because set 20 is like kind of like the big thing, and then like what happens next. So Ice Pirate makes sense. We need to go back to Ice. It might be another Ice versus Draconic set if we get a new Dromai. Yada, yada, yada. Fighting dragons? Kind of cool. That sounds pretty cool. An Ice Viking fighting dragons? Pretty neat. Junior asks, robot arms, robot arm, robot other arm, robot legs, robot leg, other leg robot, robot eyes, robot eye, and other eye robot. I don't know. Am I supposed to understand this, Junior? Let me know. I don't understand it, but thank you for submitting it anyway. And then finally, Dr. Unks asks, suppose one of your dedicated buds was moving out of the country and we wanted to have a going away party for said bud. How far would you fly to attend, and what would you bring for the potluck? Well, bold of you to assume I have to bring a potluck if I'm flying very far. I mean, I would love to attend anything. I like being invited to things. I would love to. It's always a matter of time and money. That's really it. You know, I can't take off a million days of work, and I can't, spend $1 million. But if I can make it work, I would. And as far as the potluck, maybe some ribs. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I could bring on a plane. Probably not ribs. I don't know why I said ribs. Something not stinky, I guess. Like I would bring like a Entenmann's cake and Entenmann's is pretty good. Like Entenmann's chocolate chip cake. For those who don't know, it's pretty good. So maybe a crumb cake. Entenmann's crumb cake. Entenmann's. They have a whole dedicated end cap at the grocery store where I live. I don't know if it's it's definitely not international. I don't think it's national. I think it's very regional. But Entenmann's. Anyway, so that is all the mail this week. I hope everybody has a good time in Minneapolis. And yes, I did not forget how we're going to do the special Drinking Buddy giveaway. I have plenty of these, but I'm going to do them in different kinds of ways, sending them out, maybe playing some people for them in Minneapolis, etc. But to win a play set, I'm giving away 4 play sets of Drinking Buddies for this episode. I need you to do one thing, and I will be judging this one thing. I will pick the 4 best. I want you to make a deck on like Fabrary. Not even like Fabrary. I want you to make it on Fabrary. It could be Silver Age. It could be CC. Doesn't matter. I don't need it to be good. I don't need this deck to be good. It needs to be functional. And it needs to do something I think I've never seen before done. Like a 2-card combo or a 3-card combo that I was like, whoa. So do that. Comment it on this video or on the Spotify or whatever. I would go to the YouTube video and comment it. That's the best place for me to see it. Or DM it to me on Discord, which I am just Tommy Fresh on Discord. If you're in the Buzz Discord, which I hope you all are, you can submit more questions for future mailbags. And then also you can just find me on there and DM me the list. If you're commenting it and not like DMing it to me, give me context. Be like, the combo here is, Sun-Kissed Moon, like that's obviously a classic, but like the combo is this card does that and this other card does this, and together they're going to do this. I want to see wacky, weird stuff that I feel like I could pull off in a game before that I lose with the deck. I don't think the deck needs to win, but I need to be able to. I want the ideal situation is I'm playing against you at Armory and you pull off this combo in the deck and I go, wow, that was really cool. And then who cares what happens after that? I kill you, you kill me. It doesn't matter. I need to see something. I'm like, whoa, that's neat. So February link, make sure I can look at it or whatever. And nobody steal any ideas from anybody else. That's mean. But yeah, that's how you win. And then if you do win, I'll get in touch with you and we'll send out some drinking buddies. So yeah, that's going to do it for the show, folks. I have been Tommy Fresh, and you have been all my buds. You can continue to find me on Blue Sky at freshbudspod. I have another podcast called Fresh Juice that I do with my cousin. I think we're reviewing a game called Curse Mark next week. Kind of cool. We just reviewed Mina the Hollower, which is a banger. And then Bud's Discord I've mentioned. Check that out. Show notes. Patreon. Check that out. Show notes. Link, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. Give us the follow on Spotify, whatever. Wherever you listen or watch, do some form of thumbing up for the show. It all helps. And then stay tuned for other stuff. And yeah. Let's talk about some food before we go. I like... Oh, wait. We talked about hot dogs last week. I can't talk about hot dogs again. Can I? No. I'm going to talk about... Go to a bakery and get a good loaf of bread, right? Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit of a premium, right, than your regular sliced bread at the store. But like, go get like a good loaf of bread. You owe it to yourself. Explore some local bakeries. It's very good to support them. And like, do whatever you want with it. Save it for like French toast or do your grilled cheese on it or just nosh on it a little bit with like some bread. Or no, wait, that is bread with some cheese. Just have fun with it. And I just had a really good seeded rye that I got from a bakery that a friend works at, and it was delicious. But you know what isn't delicious? Charmer. So we're not going to talk to him this week. Goodbye.